My research in general focuses on issues of land use, environmental planning, and natural resources. For the last 21 years, my wife Deborah and I have been doing a lot of work on the land use future of the Great Plains region of the United States, which is sort of a giant, if you will, air shaft in the middle of the country. Uh, but more recently, our research has gone in other directions, and we're looking, for example, at northern New England. We're looking at the lower Mississippi Delta. This morning I happened to write the historic first page of a book we're doing on a couple of different American regions, six all told. But those three, the Great Plains, the lower Mississippi Delta, and northern New England, are right now the key focus on what we're about. What these regions have in common, both in the past and today to some extent, is that they've been depopulated. They've been losing population year after year, census after census, decade after decade, generation after generation. In doing so, they defy what is really the conventional American expectation that America grows. If you look at American history, if you look at what's happening in places like the Great Plains and the lower Mississippi Delta and a lot of the Corn Belt, a couple of other places, right now, that's not actually true. These are places that are declining. There's a county seat, for example, in North Dakota, in the Great Plains. As a county seat, it's the legal equivalent of New Brunswick, New Jersey. It's a place called Amadon. It has 22 people, and about half of them, I would guess, are over 70. That's because younger people leave. They don't see much economic opportunity for themselves. They don't like the idea of perhaps, playing pinochle with their grandparents every Saturday night for the rest of their lives. And they go elsewhere. Perhaps they go elsewhere in the Great Plains. Perhaps they go to the big cities on the edge of the plains, places, say, on the west like Denver, or on the east like Omaha. Or they go to the rest of the country. They become a kind of hidden ethnic group throughout the United States. City growth has a kind of parallel thing going on with it as regional growth and non-growth. We think of American cities as growing. In general, they have, but there are plenty of exceptions, enough exceptions to make one rethink one's idea of growth. We have, certainly since World War II, large American examples of growth in Los Angeles, and growth in Houston, and growth in all kinds of cities in Florida. But if you look at other parts of the country, particularly older northeastern and midwestern cities, and some southern cities as well, you have some rather surprising tales of decline. I think the main thing that needs to get out to the public now is that we have huge American cities which we have allowed to decline. At the turn of the 20th century, Buffalo was something like the eighth largest city in the United States. When the Civil War began, St. Louis was the fourth largest city in the United States. It was growing as a kind of gateway to the West, the Pony Express, all that kind of stuff. But in the 20th century, these large northeastern and midwestern cities have basically been depopulated, neighborhood by neighborhood, house by house, and have become very unpleasant, crime-ridden, poor places. And again, you can spot places like that in relatively nearby places like Newark and Camden. And also there's some interesting southern ones, parts of the Sun Belt that never actually grew the way the rest of the Sun Belt did. Birmingham, Alabama is a lot like that, as the steel industry has declined. Memphis has declined a lot. New Orleans, in fact, was one of the poorest cities in the country and was declining fast and had the lowest average rent in the United States of any big city and the largest number of renters, and that was before Katrina hit.
To learn more about Dr. Frank Popper and his research, please visit policy.rutgers.edu/faculty/Popper.